evening and welcome to a show which boasts 30 of previously unseen footage, and indeed if you're watching the repeat then the same applies, as you won't have seen it either unless you watch the first transmission as well, in which case welcome back. In the news this week, as security for David Blunkett is increased, Special Branch train up an additional guide dog. At a family get-together, there's evidence that Osama is not the hardest of the Bin Laden brothers. And in Yorkshire, Mrs. Alan Titchmarsh makes a desperate attempt to spice up their marriage. On Ian Hislop's team is 1FM's breakfast show DJ. For Ian's benefit, that's the person who plays gramophone records on the wireless for the Light programme, Sara Cox. And with Paul Merton tonight is the man who, as the BBC's political editor, spends his days hanging around number 10 Downing Street waiting for the Prime Minister to leave. So that's him and Gordon Brown, then. Andrew Marr. So, a quick look at the scores. It would be pointless as we begin round one. Ian and Sarah, your forces of habit.
American troops, trying not to kill each other. That's Ariel Sharon, or Ariel Bombardment, as he's known.
That's my house.
Tony doing something. There's a round table at the talks, because otherwise the Afghans just keep changing sides.
Yes.
And that was Tony Blair. I think Tony Blair said when he was doing that, I can't do this, can I? People are going to spot me not being able to do something.
What couldn't he do?
He couldn't make a hole in a piece of wood.
So you can add that to running a train service.
And you flew around the Middle East with Mr. Blair, did you not?
I did. It was an aeroplane, and he's at the front. And occasionally he comes back and he kind of he briefs us and he says how well it's been going. And then we landed in Syria.
Right.
It's particularly embarrassing, isn't it? Because all the Hamas people who've just blown themselves up are all funded from Syria, aren't they?
They are funded from Syria.
Which is where he went to try and get them on board.
That's right, absolutely.
You say these people blow themselves up, getting them on board is the last thing you want.
It's not a good idea. So who's been overlooked in this new government? I was thinking more of the Taliban. It's not been a good week for them, though, has it, really?
No, they've lost a lot. They've just lost Kandahar.
That's right. And
Is that a by-election?
on the Kandahar South with an impressive swing to the Liberal Democrats.
So who's stuck out in the Middle East at the moment?
Lulu?
Lulu's friend Chris Eubank is out there.
right,
He's
yeah.
too scared to fly home. Yeah,
Good.
that one.
Too scared to fly home.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was knocking on my hotel door room once when we were working nearby, sort of in the same hotel. And he rang me up and went, Sarah, are you OK? People are trying to get into my room. Do you want me to come and look after you? I was like, bolting the door. No, thanks. See you, bye. Very scary.
God.
Yeah.
And do you keep in touch?
I had the same with Peter Mandelson once.
What, tried to get into your room?
Does Ronaldo know?
He was there already.
Heard it here first. This is the latest developments in the war on terror. This week, Osama bin Laden was almost captured during an assault on one of his mountain strongholds, according to an SAS source. We were within a whisker of bin Laden. No, it could have been miles away. This week, it emerged that Chris Eubank has been stranded in Dubai for over 2 months, too afraid to return because of his fears over the US anthrax crisis, his fears being that someone might ask him to say US anthrax crisis. Paul and Andrew, your moving image.
Ah, yes, this is the invention that's going to sweep the world. It's called the Segway. This was on the internet about 6 months ago, and there was a big rumour that there was a new invention that was going to completely transform society, and people thought it was going to be like anti-gravity skateboards or something, and it turned out to be...
In Britain, you're not going to be able to use it on the roads because it's not a car, and you're not going to be able to use it on the pavements. Therefore, you're not going to be able to use it anywhere at all.
Well, also the Department of Transport said you can be as young and as drunk as you like and use it on private land. So I thought Billy Piper,
Very
Chris and
exciting.
Billy, was it one of those days? Off the
They'll
Reds.
bump into Ewan coming the other way. Yeah.
How fast
you
did
knew
it
that.
go?
17 miles an hour.
17.
17 miles an hour.
That's
right.
pretty good. That's faster than a train.
And what's the drawback with it? There is one major drawback.
It's rubbish.
It's rubbish.
It being
What do you
rubbish,
use from?
obviously.
It's all right with these young dudes doing it, all these skater types with their
Yeah.
helmets on, but, you know, some harumphing old, dusty old bloke.
God, ageist. All right for your listeners.
Also, you look like a plonker.
That's the other
Which is
drawback,
good.
yes. Although the drawback I was thinking of is that it actually needs recharging every 2 hours.
We just plug it in, though, surely.
Provided you're not on in the middle of the road, yeah.
But you're not allowed on the road.
Don't know what I was talking
And I was
about.
looking up something on the internet about this show. So there's the 11 years we've done this show, there's only ever been one person on the show that wore a hat.
Who was it?
It was Jonathan King.
It's not the most shameful thing he's known for now, either, is it? The hat wearing.
No, that's the Bay City Rollers, isn't it?
So, Andrew, you're not tempted to buy one of these Segways?
Oh, I'll buy one if it comes out and I'm allowed to use it on the road, definitely. No,
But your wife described you as the worst shopping spouse in the world.
Yep, that's true. I don't know.
Fun to earn this super gay.
I just wrote this little piece about how I hated Christmas shopping and I was going to boycott it. And the next thing I knew, there was a deeply offensive and personal attack on me in the letters page of the Daily Telegraph by my wife.
Didn't you threaten to buy her a burqa?
Yes, I said I was going to put her in a burqa. And she then pointed out she wouldn't need to worry about this because I'd never get the right size.
Yes, this is the Segway, the revolutionary new personal transporter. Its inventor, Dean Kamen, told the world it...
It's Boy Paul.
Pay no attention. Its inventor, Dean Kamen, told the world it will fill a niche for those who need something faster than walking but slower than driving and who've never heard of a bicycle.
The scarf here, look.
Now he's doing snowman impersonations.
So, at the end of that round, the scores are like the wheels on a Segway, each team having a slightly precarious 2. And so we toast in every respect the world of the tabloids and all who fail in them. Ian and Sarah, your Filkin out of order.
I think this is a woman called Elizabeth Filkin, who's the Parliamentary Standards Commissioner, sleaze buster, if you're reading one of the smaller papers. Members of Parliament have decided that she's there in order to find them out when they're being corrupt or sleazy, which she did very efficiently, and they hated it.
And they fired her.
They've got rid of her.
That's good if you can do that as well.
It was fine when she was finding out that Tories were corrupt, but when she found out the members of the Labour Party were corrupt, then suddenly that wasn't on.
Yes.
I mean, she investigated Mandelson, Vaz,
Very good.
Robinson, all those pillars of probity. She was meant to say, oh, Peter's mortgage, that looks good.
Yep.
It's very normal to borrow that sort of money from the Paymaster General. Good. Keith Vaz, straight as the day is long.
That's right.
Jim Robinson didn't take 200 from Maxwell. It was an accident.
It was.
Slipped into his pocket. Whoa!
There was also a hideous reminder of the golden days of sleaze in one of the papers this week. This, in fact, was taken from GQ magazine.
Oh, come on, this programme isn't on late enough to show that.
There's some sort of antelope next to Christine, and she's holding its mouth shut. And I thought maybe the antelope would go, your ass looks fat in that.
The creature that's on the left, that bird. Has somebody rammed a carrot into it? What's wrong with its feet?
I think you should have stayed with either woodland or farm. Coming from farming stock myself, you couldn't run a farm like that with wolves and sheep and
The Hamilton's walking around stark naked, you wouldn't do any work.
Paul and Andrew, your police revolver. Whistling bobbies on the beat.
This is a made-up story, I think. Some bobbies have discovered that if they played music from old police programme hits like cars and stuff, crime dropped and people were greatly reassured.
This is the West Midlands Police, in fact. And where did the whistling come in, then?
I think they've taped some of them whistling Z cars.
They have,
as
yeah.
Andrew said.
Yeah. We do actually have a tape of them whistling.
Go on, then.
That's mission-ish. Yeah.
If you get near and note, whistle it.
David Blunkett wants to reform the police.
That'd send his guide dog crazy, listening to that.
We can actually show you the two constables, I think is the expression I'm looking for. Responsible. That's Sergeant Chris Dowan on the left. This music is piped out of loudspeakers and air bricks in the wall. There's a variety of themes that they whistle. Yeah, it's not just Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Z-Cars,
Yeah.
The Bill, The Sweeney.
Dixon Dot Green.
Dixon Dot Green, Hawaii Five-0.
Well, that would be better.
How would that sound, Ian? Yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much.
I agree with
think he
Andrew. I
swallowed
think it's
it.
made up.
Yeah.
We say it's made up. We vote made up.
Well, you have to take it up with Sergeant Chris Dowan.
OK. Leave that with me.
This is West Midlands Police latest weapon in their fight against crime, tapes of policemen whistling
Has anyone
TV
got
themes.
a mobile?
I've got a mobile, yeah.
OK.
Whistling TV themes in shopping centres. As a result of
Can I
which,
get 192?
as a result of which, the number of muggings has dropped dramatically. Although that's hardly surprising, as so has the number of shoppers.
Has this turned into Graham Norton, or have I come to the wrong studio?
Oh, God, I hope not.
In a speech to police officers earlier this year, David Blunkett said, "I'm shocked at the scale and cost of excess absenteeism."
Hello, yes, I'm
adding,
looking for the number. West Midlands Police Force. Keep going.
adding hello. That didn't work very well, I wonder why. Have you got the number?
Yeah, I've got the number.
Excellent. Was that director inquiries then?
Yeah.
Were they helpful?
They've given me the number, which is all
Excellent.
you can ask of them. Hello, is that the West Midlands Police Force? Yeah. I wonder if you could settle a bet for me. Yes, there was a story that I saw in the papers the other day about the West Bromwich Police Force who are, yes, they've recorded various television theme tunes, they've whistled them, and they're playing them in West Bromwich to cut down crime. It's not bollocks, I assure you. Yeah, well, you don't know my number. Well, you can trace the call, I don't care.
Meanwhile, back
I
at the
wouldn't have any
quiz.
plans for tomorrow if I were you.
Ian and Sarah, name, game and fame.
Is this to do with Delia Smith? Well, it's Delia. No, we don't have to call her Delia Smith.
You don't have to call her
You
Delia
do a
Smith anymore.
Delia. She's known now in the dictionary. If you do a Delia, it's a simple dish. And I was going to say, you could have yours, Angus.
What's that then?
Like a simple dish, I was going to say.
Were you going to say that?
Yeah, but I
Thank
thought-
God you didn't.
Good
God,
point.
how embarrassing will that have been? Yes. She crops up
You fancy
twice
Angus?
in the...
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, actually, but I have interviewed Angus when we've been out at film premieres.
Yeah.
And when we can't get Hugh Grant, we always get Angus.
Now, Delia.
Yeah, so it is in the dictionary. And,
Yes, she is twice in the dictionary. The two phrases, doing a Delia and a Delia dish. There are plenty of other English phrases which use the names of individuals, even though we have no idea who they are. A phrase, the real McCoy, going for a Burton, and Ian Duncan Smith. Delia Smith is the first celebrity chef to have her Christian name appear in a dictionary, apart, of course, from Fanny Craddock, although her first name is actually included as a description of Gary Rhodes. And finally in this round, Paul and Andrew, the waiting's over.
Well, this has got to be the NHS story, I guess. They are going to open lots of mini hospitals. They're going to bring over lots of French and German doctors, and they're going to let NHS patients go into private hospitals if they've been waiting for too long.
And they're going to train up postmen as well.
To do what?
Whistle.
Simple operations. Basically, so what if you've got an appendectomy or something like that, you just, like, in the morning, you just stick your stomach to the letterbox, he's on the other side, all done.
Right. Keyhole surgery.
Excellent, keyhole surgery, then, yeah.
So who's been discussing the NHS this week in controversial manner?
Lulu.
On the Frost programme.
Because a lot of people say it's got nothing to do with her, but she says no, it's a concern of the...
Yes, I was thinking
She says
more...
it makes her want to shout.
He really is a big fan. It's very
Funnily
sad.
enough, Gordon Brown is a big Lulu fan as well.
Is he?
He is, yes.
Do you know that for a fact?
Yes, he speaks about little else. But he has been speaking about the NHS and about how we're going to have to pay higher taxes if we want a better NHS.
How do you find out about all these things to do with politicians? You
Turn on the
have...
television and watch it.
No, you don't.
Watches John Sargent, don't you?
As I watch John Sargent, he tells me everything
Do
I
you
need
have
to know.
cosy one-to-one lunches, don't you?
I have very cosy one-to-one lunches.
How was your cosy one-to-one lunch with Alistair Campbell last week?
Cosy.
Was it? So what's the truth about the pact between him and Blair, then, in your opinion?
I think it is true. I think at some point Blair is going to stand aside and that will take over.
I was meaning more between Brown and Blair.
Oh, that pact?
Yes.
Brown wouldn't deny it the other morning, would he?
That is actually interesting. Up to now, they've both said, absolute nonsense, there's no such pact. And Brown gave a little wee Scottish smile and said,
He also said it's just his and Tony's business. I suppose who's Prime Minister isn't any of our business, is it, really?
It is the ongoing debate about the future of the NHS. Health Secretary Alan Milburn, according to The Telegraph, is keen to move the emphasis in the NHS from the first letter to the last, making it less national and more of a service, presumably hoping we'll all forget about the tricky health bit in the middle. Which, oral discharges mean at the end of this exchange, well, neither side seems capable of a lead, both obsessed with sharing 6 points. Odd one out's the only honest way to describe the next round. Paul and Andrew, Osama bin Laden, Estelle Morris, Homer Simpson and Kylie Minogue.
I think it's probably about not getting any qualifications. Estelle Morris went back to school to discuss the fact that she hadn't got any A-levels. I don't think that Homer Simpson got any A-levels. Kylie Minogue probably hasn't got many higher qualifications, and I think, therefore, that the odd one out is the extremely well-qualified engineer, Osama bin Laden.
Is the wrong answer.
Is it downloaded images?
In what way? No, it isn't. So it's
One of them's yellow.
Websites.
Yeah. Oh, Friends United. That's a new website that's opened up, which had to be closed down because people were going to schools and then they were sort of saying libelous stuff about ex-teachers.
What, so all Osama's mates from Jeddah High School were looking him up?
Exactly.
It's a bit late. They're going, yeah, watch out for him. He's well done. Yeah, we know.
Yeah, thanks.
Remember when he put that stink bomb in chemistry? So, I think... So that's the odd one out.
Who are you picking as the odd one out?
You see now, you want to pin me down there, don't you? Well, I think then the odd one out is Osama bin Laden.
Is the wrong answer. However,
Well, if it's not him, it must be Homer Simpson then.
equally wrong, but you will get there in the end.
Estelle.
It's the right answer. Yes, this is all to do with people who have multiple bogus entries on the Friends Reunited website, apart from Education Secretary Estelle Morris, who went back to her old school last week.
If Estelle Morris and Kylie Minogue had ever supported Arsenal, then it could have been an Arsenal question.
Why is that then, Andrew?
Because Osama bin Laden was an Arsenal fan as well, briefly, and Homer Simpson wasn't, and that's more interesting.
Trust him to support the Gunners.
Osama has 4 entries, which is kind of strange given that 2 of them are actually Catholic schools. Yes, and Kylie has 6 entries on the website. Who was she spied with in Manchester this week?
Ryan Giggs.
Very nearly. Jamie Theakston. Almost. You were there in Manchester?
Yeah, I gave her an award at the top of the Pops Awards, I swear, and I saw it back on telly. She's about that. And I stand behind her just like a great big rugby-loving auntie, like, oh, behind her, she's just this little, tiny little snapper, put in the pocket. Thing, tiny little thing.
But when you gave her the award...
I said, look at her bottom.
Look at that arse, it's Kylie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look at that bottom, I had to say, because it was top of the Pops.
Oh, right, you're not allowed to
This
say
is all
arse.
because of a video, which was I'm spinning around, look at my arse, because it was basically just a shot of her in
That's not what the video's called, is it?
Well, no, but it was in my world.
Yeah. Didn't you get into trouble for asking Simon Mayo if he had a large penis?
Was this on Children's Hour, was it?
Yeah, no.
Children's Hour, Ian, I think stopped about 1962.
No, that was one of the reasons you didn't
Jolly
get
good, though, wasn't it?
It was. Muffin the Mule. That's a criminal offence
It is,
now.
no, yeah. No, apparently you didn't get into trouble because it was after the morning watershed of 8:45, because after the school run, you can say words like penis.
Yeah, I'm on till 10
You
now,
said
so it's all
sod
right.
this morning,
Sod.
about 5:2.
Yeah, I also
It's a Radio
said...
1, Ian.
Did you this?
Doing my homework.
Is Jimmy Young got too racy for you?
You can say near enough anything, but if you say something like testicle and then parents complain, they have to explain to their son what a testicle is. It's kind of how you've got to at some point.
Not necessarily during the school run, though.
Says the father of two.
Father of two testicles.
They all have multiple bogus entries on the Friends Reunited website, except Estelle Morris. One former pupil at a school in Suffolk has logged onto the website using the name Osama bin Laden as a joke. Presumably he won't find it quite so funny when a Tomahawk missile comes hurtling through his French windows. Ian and Sara, something of an unusual challenge for you, insofar as you have to choose between these.
That's life.
Can we hear those again? Well, the first one's Bridge Over Troubled Waters.
No. The first one's Morning Has Broken, Cat Stevens.
This could get very dull.
The second one is That's Life, Frank Sinatra. That's life! That's what the people say, that one. And the fourth one was Peggy Sue, Buddy Holly. If you know that one. The third one I'd have to hear again, though. So
dear.
it suddenly got interesting.
Yes.
After 11 years, suddenly there's a question. This is interesting.
Yes, well, he got 2 out of 4. Anyway, we'll hear them again.
Oh, he's right.
It is Bridge Over Troubled Waters.
Yeah.
That's life.
That's life, yeah.
No, it's Dylan.
That's Bob Dylan, yeah.
Dylan.
So we got Bridge Over Troubled Water, That's Life and Peggy Sue. And the third one...
It's Bob Dylan, but
Yes.
it's
It's Times They Are Changing.
Times They Are Changing.
Yes.
Right.
It is to do with a Mr. Michael Kerr. I'll give you that. Any idea who Michael Kerr might be?
Is he a pseudonym for... Shaggy?
You've dragged that from somewhere, haven't you?
Yes. You'd know him better by his real name. He's become an Earl and was Tory chairman.
Lord Ancram.
Lord Ancram, yes.
Lord Ancram.
Or Earl of Ancram.
Who plays these? He strums, and he's quite a good little plucker. They tell me.
I bet he doesn't sing That's Life then, because that's not
But he
really...
probably doesn't sing That's Live, because the others are all acoustic guitar numbers.
Is a very good and correct answer. Well done.
Quite good.
Is he?
Yeah.
Have you got any footage of him?
All right, let's
Go on
hear
then.
it.
Let me take you by the hand and lead you through the streets of London.
God, I've seen him down the tube.
How many guitars has he got?
4.
One.
He's got 3. He's got a 12-string, a classical Spanish, and 1 for relaxation.
Really? What does he do with that?
No idea.
Beggars belief, doesn't it?
Yeah. And why have we chosen That's Life as the odd one out?
Because he doesn't sing that one.
There's slightly more reason to it. It was chosen by William Hague on Desert this week. Did you not listen to him?
I started, but I didn't get very far.
Why is that then?
Turned it off.
I did like the sound of his sister, though.
Yeah.
He was asked whether he got above himself in politics and did his family keep him drowned. He said his elder sister always wrote to him, "Dear Tory pig."
And funnily enough, the postman always delivered it to the correct address.
In October, Michael Ancram got up and sang Peggy Sue at the Conservative ball. A Tory spokesman told reporters, "Mr Ancram has been playing the guitar for 25 years. Actually, it was about half an hour. It just felt like 25 years. And so to the adrenaline rush that accompanies our final Missing Words round, including many, some or fewer, from this week's guest publication, the literally awesome Notting Matters. So help yourself to Bin Laden, will he, won't he, what?
Be on the cover of this year's Radio Times.
Almost.
Will he, won't he marry Liz Hurley?
He should do.
He should.
Yeah, he should.
Poor girl. No, it's will he, won't he make the cover of Time.
Oh! So the cover of Radio Times was pretty good.
Next, Much Ado About What?
Notting.
Is the right answer. An article from Notting Matters featuring such knots as Pedigree Cow Hitch, Granger's Grip Spike and the Royal Bastard, which is really Isaac Walton's Angler's Loop Knot by another name, coined by one Brian Toss, who himself should be known by another name. Next, what works in advertising?
Angus Dayton.
My friend Kev used to.
No, bald front is the answer. This is the news that bald people can now sell advertising space on the back of their heads.
That's brilliant.
Next, Notting what?
Notting Forest 1, Leighton Orient 2. From The Guardian.
Notting ventured, Notting gained. This article features a diagram showing how to tie a secure alternative to the clove hitch, apparently. The insecurity of a clove hitch being a problem, I think, for most of our viewers. And finally, Santa's what?
Grotto hit by B-52s.
No, Santa's not scared to open his mail. This is Mr. Rob Ryan of Illinois, who receives over 500 letters a year around now since changing his name to Santa Claus. You'd have to be very short of friends, wouldn't you, really? Which fruitless endeavours mean at the end of tonight's final segment, this week's Bitter Lemons are Ian and Sarah with 8, while this week's Perfect Pair are Paul and Andrew with 10. And I leave you with news that at Buckingham Palace, the Queen puts on a brave face after catching a visitor trying on her clothes. Following Jerry Halliwell's recent for the troops, there's evidence the Grumbleweeds may not have gone down quite so well. And history is made as John Paul II becomes the first pope to visit Lilliput. Good night.